Welcome back to EE341 Lab. In the previous session, you got familiar with LabVIEW and you saw how we start using LabVIEW and what are the applications of using LabVIEW. In this session, we will continue to learn LabVIEW together. As you know, when we are writing a program in other programming languages, in order to avoid repeating something that we have already written and we are using it repetitively, we use something called functions in most of the programming languages. Also, the use of functions lets us to decrease the size of the program that we're writing and also the amount of complexity of the program. So here in LabVIEW, we have something the same, which is called subvi. Subvis are something like functions in other programming languages, but as I told you, because LabVIEW is something, some kind of graphical programming language, it is different than the programming languages that we have already learned. So there are two ways to create a subvi in LabVIEW, which we will see in this session. In order to start our example, we will, like previous examples, click on blank VI. We will see our two famous windows of front panel and block diagram. As I told you, we can split the screen into seeing both of them. So in order to create a sub VI, as I told you, we have two ways. The main way is the way that I'm going to tell you right now. So suppose that we have an example that tells us to design a sub VI which takes two inputs, adds them up, and then multiply the result with a third input, and then gives the result as an output to us. So here you should pay attention to something very important. In LabVIEW, there are some expressions which we use specifically in LabVIEW. In LabVIEW, we call inputs as controls and outputs as indicators. So in LabVIEW, we don't have the word input and output. We use the words controls and indicators. So what did I tell you? I told you that the example tells us to get two numbers as inputs, add them up, and then multiply the result with a third number as an input also, and then give the total result to us as a numeric output or numeric uh, indicator. So we need some numeric controls. You see, in LabVIEW, we have something called numeric control. We just take it and we drag it here. So you see, just as we bring it here in front panel, it is also brought in the block diagram. So this is our first number. We need two other inputs, two other controls here, yes? So in order to not do it again and go here and just drag it again, we can press Ctrl key and drag this. So it's copied. And then we can again press the Ctrl key and drag this numeric. So we have our three controls here. Also, we need an output. We need an indicator. So we go here, we go to numeric, and we go to numeric indicator. So this is our numeric indicator. So you see they are not wired here, and they shouldn't be wired in front panel. But in block diagram, we should go and specify the wirings and also specify the operations. So the example, as I told you, wants to add these two numeric controls, and then the result of them is multiplied by this third numeric control. So we need some numeric operations. We go here to numeric, we find this add and we drag it here. So you see, and then we go again here, we find this multiply and we put it here. So very easily, we just take this wire into here and this wire into here. So these two are now added and the result comes here. And the result of this third numeric control comes here. And then the result comes to the output. Or as we call in LabVIEW, comes to the indicator. So you see, we don't see any operation here, any wiring here. We just see the inputs, we just see the controls and the indicator. You see that the controls can be changed, you see, but the indicator cannot be changed because this is the result of this. The user can change these, can gives his or her desired input to these, but he or she can only observe what will be the result of this. So let's just see this as an example. We can run it continuously. You see, if we put 1 here, if we put 4 here, if we put 2 here, then 4 plus 2 will be 6, multiplied by 1, it will be 6, multiplied by 2, it will be 12. And if we change each of them, we will see the change in the result simultaneously. So it is 4 plus 3 multiplied by 2, you see. So now we basically have what we wanted, but we haven't saved it yet. We should save it for future uses. How can I say? We should save it as a block. We should save it as a VI so that we can reuse it when we need to add two inputs and multiply them by a third input. So in order to do that, we should first assign the inputs and outputs. We should first assign the controls and the indicators. You know, like other programming languages, when you are writing a function, you should tell the program what are the inputs and the outputs. Otherwise, how the computer is going to know what is the input and what is the output? Just the same as that, here we assign the inputs, or as we call them here, the controls, and assign the outputs, or as we call them, the indicators. So in order to do that, we come to the right side of the screen, and as we see here, we have a block here that has some sub blocks. The ones on the left are for the inputs, or for the controls, and the ones on the right are for the outputs or the indicators. So we click on one of them and we click on this, and then these two are now assigned together. So this thread or this indicator is assigned to the first numerical this control is assigned to our first numeric control. We click on this, we assign it to the second one, and we click on this and we assign it to the third one. The same we will do it for indicators, and we assign this numeric indicator to this block indicator. So now we should save this. We go here, save all, we give it a name like, for example, subvi, and we save it, and now we can reuse it. How we can reuse it? Just like how we use the functions in other languages. So let's close this. Let's open a new blank VI. Suppose that this time we need to do the same, but as we have written or we have designed the program previously, we don't need to repeat what we have done. We just bring that VI and we use it. So In order to switch between these two windows, let's learn something. We have a shortcut in LabVIEW. It is Control E. I repeat, Control E. When I press Control E, we can switch between these two, you see? So instead of going like this and splitting the screen, we can also use Control E and switch between these two. So that's a shortcut that I wanted to tell you to keep in mind. So we are now going to use the VI that we just saved. We come in the block diagram, we right click, we go here, we select the VI. You saw, I repeat, we right click, we select a VI, we select this sub VI that we saved, and we put it here. You see, when my cursor is on it, when my mouse is on it, we have one numeric indicator and three numeric controls. So now we can easily now assign them. So there is something beautiful about LabVIEW, and that's um, somehow how automatically we can assign the inputs and outputs that a block need. I will tell you what that beautiful feature is. So you see here, we see that we have three controls. We can right click here and we can come to create, and we can tell the LabVIEW to create a control for that. You see, it assigned us what we needed. So instead of going here or going, for example, here and putting a numeric control, and then you see it appears here and you connect it to this, we can right click here and create what we needed, and create, because we need an input, we create a control. You see, sorry, this is the third one, so it's better to put them this way. So here you see this number is added to this number and multiplied by this. Why it will happen? Because this is what we define for this sub VI. This is like a function in other languages. So if we click on it, if we double click on it, we will see what is inside it. You see? Let's close this again. We want to see what is inside this block. We double click on it and we will see this. It's the front panel. We want to see its corresponding block diagram. We press Ctrl E and we see what was inside this. So you see that inside this sub VI, two numbers are added, and then they are added by they are multiplied by the third control, and then the result will be shown as an indicator. So I close this. So this is what was inside this, and you see that the corresponding palettes are shown here on the front panel. And as I told you, the beautiful feature of LabVIEW, we can have automatically what we need. We right click on this thread and we ask LabVIEW to create what we need now. We need an output, so we create an indicator. You see, it appears here and correspondingly here. So we have the same thing that we needed. We needed some program to add two numbers and then multiply them by the third number. But because we knew that we need this, we wrote it once, we designed it once, and now we can use it again and again. Imagine that we need to use the output of this as an input to a new one. So we press Ctrl and we drag this. So this is copied, and imagine that we need to give the output of this to the input of this new one. So we just wire them very easily. So now this result is given to this, and imagine that we need to add it with another number. So we create a control because we need an input. You see this numeric 5 is appeared here and also here. And pay attention to the names. The names are the same. So this is numeric, this is numeric. This is numeric 3, this is numeric 3. This is numeric 5, this is numeric 5. So the result of this operation is added to numeric 5 and then is multiplied by another input, or as we call it here, another control, and then we want to show the result as an indicator. So numeric 7 is the result of all of these operations. You see it here. So if we run the program and we change these, we will see the result in the output. So this is the ultimate output. You see this numeric 7. So this numeric 4 is added to this numeric 2, which is 6. Then they are multiplied by numeric 3, which is 5. Which is 4. And then the result of that operation is given to this subvi again. That is added to numeric 5, which is 3. And that is multiplied by numeric 6, which is 2. Which is 5. And then the ultimate result would be something like this numeric 7. So you see that we can write a subvi and we can use it again and again, just like we did with functions in other languages. Okay, that was the main way of creating a subvi. There's another way, a faster way to create a subvi. We will practice it right now. Let's go back to that example. Let's quickly select those numeric controls. So I will press Ctrl, I will copy them. And then insert our numeric indicator. So we want to add this up. Right click here. We drag and drop this add, and we drag and drop this multiply. Easily connect the wires. So in this method, we should select the part that we want to turn it into subvi. So we want some subvi to do this for us, to add two numbers and then multiply them by another number. So to do so, we select that part. You see, the operational part that we needed is selected. Then we go to Edit menu and we select this Create subvi. You see, it quickly turns into that subvi, the subvi that we needed. So in order to be able to use it for in future uses, we should save it. So in order to save this, we should double click on it in order to see what's inside it. You see, I close this again. I double click on it and I see what is inside it as in the front panel. In order to see its block diagram, we should press Ctrl E, as I told you, and now we are seeing what's inside that subvi. As you see, it is still unsaved because there is a star here. This star indicates that this is not saved yet. So in order to save this, we go here and we select save, not save all. We select save. So when we select save, we can, for example, name it as subvi2 and then click OK, and now it's saved at subvi2. So we can use it. We right click in the block diagram and we go and select a VI, and we see that we have access to this sub VI2. We put it here and you see that this is the same sub VI that we needed. So this is the second way of creating a sub VI. And let me add something for you that can be used for future. We can also edit the icon, edit how this subview is shown to us or others in order to not be confused about what is this subview, what is this subview. So if I double click on it, you see here, these are the controls, this is the indicator, and this is how the icon is shown to the viewers. So we double click on this, and you see, if we double click now, we have access to change this subview icon, and we can also edit what is written on top of this subview as text, and um, we can add icons to the figure and so on. So in order not to be confused, what is this subview, what is the other subview, we can also change the way that this is shown to us as a useful tool.